Hello and welcome along to the North Lodge Cottage Garden, where in this video we're going to explore a few of the best roses to be planting from David Austin if you're interested like me about bringing pollinators into your garden. As a general rule, roses aren't the best thing for bees, hoverflies, pollinating wasps or bumblebees to forage on. There's simply far too many petals to make it worthwhile in getting right into the centre. There's not enough pollen and there's certainly not enough nectar. However, David Austin have started growing a range of plants that are much better and much more appealing to the pollinating insects, and here is just a few of them. This is not an all-encumbering list, but these are a collection of a few that I grow here at North Lodge, which I would really suggest that you plant. The first one, reviewed during this year in 2022, is the stunning Tottering by Gently. You can see a beautiful yellow open flower with 5 or 6 petals there, all heart-shaped, and a lovely open space in the centre of the bloom, which is really enticing to a hoverfly, bee or a wasp to land in and really get themselves right into those stamens. A really beautiful yellow rose which flowers all the way through the season and creates a beautiful mound-shaped bush. So this one is Tottering by Gently. Very similar to that one is the lovely Kew Gardens. A very similar, a white rose bred by David Austin Roses. Again, has very much the appeal of a dog rose, a very open flower that bears flowers literally all the way through the year. A really hard working plant. Again, much like Tottering by Gently, this one creates a very large mound shaped bush which will be absolutely encrusted with huge sprays of these white flowers. You can see here a lovely peachy apricot bud and then a pure white flower that opens all the way through the year. A real favourite of mine and a very interesting rose. This one is a semi-climber or a large floppy bush. This is Buttercup and it has the most beautiful colour, a rich dark golden colour with edges of copper and brassy tones to it. A really lovely rose. A little word of warning on Buttercup, it's really spiky and very floppy. I grow mine against a fence. It is classified as a shrub rose, but if you want to grow this one, do give it some support, and I suggest you put it against a fence and fan train it out. But this is Buttercup. This one will also open really nice and wide. There's a lovely bowl in the centre there for a bumblebee to get into and really get some pollen and some nectar from that one. A very little known rose which I absolutely love, and I cannot recommend this one enough. This pink beauty is Scarborough Fair. This rose is as tough as nails and is really hardy and really reliable. This one rebuffs things like black spot, mold and mildew really well, and is very small and compact. So if you're growing on a balcony, terrace or patio, or you're very limited for space and want to put this into a pot, this beautiful little one is Scarborough Fair, and you can see a really lovely semi-double flower with an open cup. This has lovely edges of yellow striped up the back of it, and if I peel back those central petals, you'll see that lovely bleaching in the centre. A really lovely rose if you want to invite pollinators into your garden. Scarborough Fair comes really highly recommended from myself and was reviewed last year during National Rose Month 2021. So if you are interested in this rose, please do go and have a look at its full review, because it's really worth growing. So this one is Scarborough Fair. This big bold beauty here is Royal Jubilee. Now this is probably the worst of the bunch if we're going to rank these into order of best for pollinators. It still is a really large open cup, very similar to Jude the Obscure or Old Woollerton Hall. It's a very large chalice shaped flower, so although it has many petals and it does look like a peony, it's a beautiful flower. There's still plenty of room in there for a pollinator to get right up into the centre of the flower and actually get a drink or something to eat. So this is Royal Jubilee, a really large shrub rose reaching something in a region of about 5 feet. Very floppy, which I actually adore. I know it annoys a lot of you with habit, but this one I grow in a very large galvanized bath, and the heads hang down, which is really quite pleasant. Give it a little bit of support, a few canes and some string latticed around like if you were growing dahlias for cut flowers, just to give it a little bit of support. But this beauty is Royal Jubilee. And last but by no means least, a real favourite of mine here at North Lodge. I have this rose planted quite literally everywhere. I think I've got 4 or 5 of these. This is the stunning Lark Ascending. A semi-double flower in a beautiful light apricot with an absolutely stunning yellow tinge running up the back of the petals. Semi-double, there's plenty of room right in the centre of the flower for pollinators to get in there and forage. It flowers in absolute abundance from mid-June all the way through to the back end of November and December. This is a large shrub rose reaching in excess of 5 to 6 feet. It's perfect for planting en masse to create an informal hedge or a boundary between you and a neighbour. But this is the Lark Ascending, which also, if left undeadheaded towards the back end of the season, will produce really beautiful hips. On the front, or on the subject of hips, there are a couple in front of me which will also produce fairly good hips. So if you're interested in then encouraging birds into the garden for the winter and autumn season, at around September, October time, stop deadheading Kew Gardens, stop deadheading Tottering by Gently, stop deadheading Buttercup, and stop deadheading the Lark Ascending. So this altogether is my range of best for pollinator roses from David Austin Roses. Just a few of the ones that if you're really interested in encouraging wildlife pollinators into your garden, these are the collection of roses that I would like to see you planting. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a shout. I'm always more than happy to help, so please do leave me a comment, and don't forget to follow on Instagram and of course on YouTube.